So recently, a Fallout 76 player just managed to solo the Vault Raid on Expert. Once again, solo. That is insane. He goes by AustralVoid on Twitch, which is owned by him and his girl. They typically stream together, but while live streaming, he decided to challenge himself on completing the Vault 94 raid by himself, and he was successful. He reported attempting this about 15 times solo until he was officially successful. So a lot of trial and error was involved within completing this, of course. One of the most important tips that he mentioned to me about how to get through this is by doing it in survival, where there is less lag happening, because the worlds are less filled and used. If you think about it, in Adventure, a lot of people are in there, but if you go to survival, it's more empty and there's less technical difficulties happening. Before I get into what he did on each part to get through this though, let's go ahead and get into his build. Now he did mention that his perk card setup is a bit of a mess. He mentioned that it's 99% practice getting through this. So like I mentioned before, it's all about trial and error, getting used to where things you gotta find is located at so you can get through it as quick as possible. But as you can see, getting into his build, he has Traveling Pharmacy, which reduces the weights of all chems. He has Iron Fist, which this makes your punching attacks do 20% more damage, which this helped out his Mole Miner Gauntlet that he was using. Also, he had Blocker on, take 45% less damage from opponents' melee attacks, which is crucial. Pretty much all the enemies in here are doing melee attacks against you. Also, he had Martial Artist fully upgraded, which makes your swing speed 30% faster and your melee weapons weigh 60% less. And lastly, he had Incisor fully upgraded, which this makes it so melee weapons ignore 75% of your target's armor. Okay, so to speed up time here, I'm not going to explain what every single perk card that he used does. Feel free to pause it on a perk card if you are curious on what it does. So getting into the next category, as you can see, he had 3 into Perception and had each pick locking skill upgraded, which this gives you level 3 pick locking skill, which makes it so you can bypass a certain door to get started on the key hunt, instead of having to search everywhere around for that specific key to get into the first door, to get to the next key, and then use that key to get to the next key. Instead, you can just bypass all that and skip into the door and get that first key to get started on all of the others. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyways, he also had 7 points in Endurance. And once again, feel free to pause this if you want to read what these do. He had Ghoulish and Ironclad in that category. Next up here in the Charisma category, he had Lone Wanderer, as you can see, which he had 5 points in Charisma. And as for the Intelligence category, he had 5 points into that. And he had First Aid and Pharmacist in that category. And most importantly, for the next one, he had 12 points in Agility, which this is the most important category, I feel like. This one has probably the most important perk cards in it to be able to solo the Expert Vault Raid. As you can see, he had Secret Agent, Escape Artist, Sneak, Marathoner, and Action Point / Girl, just depending on what gender you are. Next up here for the Luck category, as you can see, he had 9 points into that. He had Bloody Mess, fully upgraded, Class Freak, Starched Jeans, and Curator. So yeah, that's all the perks that he was using to get through Vault Raid on Expert. Now let's go ahead and get into the mutations real quick that he was using. Once again, feel free to pause it if you need to read what these do. But starting off, he had Bird Bones, Marsupial, Adrenal Reaction, Speed Demon, Scaly Skin, Talons, Twisted Muscles, and lastly, Herd Mentality. I will mention real quick, he did not run with a bloodied build, so Adrenal Reaction wasn't important to him, and also Herd Mentality wasn't, of course, important to him as well. As you can see, that lowers your stats if you are running solo. So yeah, that's probably just some pre-mutations that he had for attempting this solo. Anyways, so now since his build is out of the way, let's go ahead and get into how he got through each area. Okay, so now getting into the run through Expert on the Dead in the Water mission in the Vault Raid. First off, I want to make this clear, he did give me permission to use his footage, which is highly appreciated because this is some awesome work by him. So the weapon that he was using was a Junkie's Mole Miner Gauntlet with faster swing speed. He also, as you can see, popped a Stealth Boy before even getting into the raid so he'd be invisible. And he actually kept straight through these doors to make his way to the first button that he has to press to open a door to get into the room where you have to repair the pipes. Okay, so when he gets into the pipe repair room, he immediately goes over here and jumps down into the water and repairs the pipe going down into the water. Then he immediately goes to these pipes down here. This gives him a significant increase on the pipe repair. Once he gets out of the water, he goes over to this section, and there's 3 other pipes over here that he was able to repair. Then immediately he jumps down below into the water once again, repairs a pipe that's right below it, and repairs some more pipes that are in the water, making his way over to the other side of the room while continuing to repair as many pipes as possible. And then when he officially repairs all the pipes that are needed and the draining pops up, he goes into this back room up here and repairs a few other pipes, trying to stay clear from the enemies. That is the main objective that he's going for, just trying to avoid as many enemies as possible, as well as repairing the pipes as fast as he can. When he exits out of the room, he repairs an additional 3 more pipes, giving him some more bonus time. So by the time he leaves that room, he has about 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Now he's on to the next area. He does have a bit of a delay into this next area, finding the keys, but he is, once again, extremely swift. As you can see, the route that he takes, once again, he immediately jumps down, repairs a pipe, goes into this restroom area, repairs a pipe in there. Then once he enters this area, he goes straight for 2 more pipes. And then he goes into this cafeteria and repairs another pipe. And he luckily finds the workroom key. This actually saved him quite a bit of time because he could have failed picking the door a few times. You never know how that's going to play out exactly. Because like I was mentioning before, that's why he has the 3 lockpicking skills, to be able to bypass that area to get to the first key so he can run and unlock the other doors efficiently, instead of having to look everywhere around for that key to get into the first room to start the run. But anyways, when he gets into the council room, this is one of his delays that he does have, sadly. But he still managed to complete this, which is phenomenal. I'm just going to skip past the little delay here. It takes him about 17 seconds, though, to be able to find the nursery key in the council room. Once he gets the nursery key within the council room, he starts running to the nursery room. But while he's on his way to the nursery room, he repairs a few more pipes. Instead of focusing on all the pipe repairs, he instead is working on it while he's also progressing toward the codes that you have to find. Now, inside the nursery room, he did have another huge delay. It was actually in an area that he has not seen spawn before. I'll go ahead and skip the delay. He entered the area with about 3:15 time remaining, and he found it with about 2 minutes and 35 seconds remaining. So it took him about 30 seconds to find this key, sadly. Once again, it spawned in an area that he has never seen before. Anyways, once he gets that key card, he repairs a few more pipes that were on this side of the room, as well as in the flooded areas. So once he gets those repaired, he goes downstairs. There's actually 5 more pipes that you can find down here to repair, which this helped him a lot on finishing up all the pipes that you have to repair to get to the next section. So yeah, when he enters inside this room, the password was luckily right on top of the shelf over the computer, so that helped him tremendously on saving some time looking for it around in that area, because the password can spawn in random areas. Anyways, once he gets the code, he immediately runs out, goes through this door, and goes up through this hole in the ceiling here. This gives him a few more pipes to repair to give him some extra time. That time is crucial because he did lose quite a bit on looking for the keys in the council and nursery room. So anyways, the time that he had getting into the pause room was 4 minutes and 9 seconds. So keep that in mind, everyone, in case you are trying to attempt this solo. He then pulled up the codes and took a picture of it. Well, his girlfriend did, but still. If you are doing a solo, just remember to take a picture of it or write down those codes so you don't have to pull up the Pip-Boy, because pulling up the Pip-Boy will waste even more time, and time is against us in here on Expert. So anyways, once he gets inside this room, he immediately uses another Stealth Boy and starts repairing pipes through these corridors. And then he goes into this room and finds the reactor keycard, as well as a catalyst, luckily. That could possibly be used later if it is part of the randomness that pops up here. There's a couple different scenarios that could happen here. So he just has that just in case it does happen, so he doesn't have to waste time looking for it. So it seems like his tactic was just to look for the pipes on one side of the room at the moment, open up all of those doors, and then he officially restarted the reactor. And once he restarted the reactor, he dropped down below and started repairing the pipes on that one side, and then he worked his way over to the other side eventually to start repairing even more. Now the first scenario that he got here was actually find the catalyst, and while he was looking for the catalyst to put into the reactor, he was also looking for pipes to repair as he went through. Now once again, this is all about trial and error. That's how he knows exactly where all of the pipes are. You just have to keep practicing this. He mentioned to me that it's 99% about practice, and I completely agree with him. Getting this much awareness in your mind on where to go when doing this helps out tremendously. It's all about the experience. You could go a novice and just look around for the pipes throughout this room. Just study each room if you're really wanting to try to complete this on solo. Or heck, if you're really just wanting to complete this on expert in general. You're going to have to know where things are to be able to complete it. So yeah, as you can see, for his second scenario that he had here, luckily he got where he had to just open the outtake and intake valves. I bet he was feeling really relieved when this popped up. This is a pretty easy step to complete compared to some others that you can experience in this room. Anyways, next task he had was another easy one to complete, which was the hand scanners. This you just have to run up to him and, scan your hand. He's also continuing to look for pipes to repair while he's still running over to use the hand scanners. But once he gets the hand scanners officially done, luckily he got another pretty easy task to do, which is just swiping the control key card through each reader. And as we know, he did manage to find the key card in the very beginning, and that's all he needs, just one key card to be able to swipe at each reader. But here at the end, as you can see, he did have to take on the circuit breakers, which this is pretty time consuming, but he managed to do this extremely fast. As you can see, he did have his girl helping him in the background, I believe, with that note card that she's using, reading off the numbers that were chosen for the circuit breakers. If you don't have someone to actually help with this scenario, you could just write it down on a notepad or just try to remember it. There's only a couple numbers that you have to remember. Anyways, once he got that done, he then just had to go press the emergency restart button, and that's when the draining officially started. So now he's just working on some extra pipes to repair to get him some more time. As you can see, his time is looking a little low exiting this room. But as soon as he's able to open the door, he uses another stealth boy, and in this next section, as you can see, he has a little below 2 minutes. So he immediately starts progressing through this area and repairing as many pipes as he can. Time is extremely against him, but he's getting the time up by repairing these pipes as fast as possible. I have to say, going and doing the vault raid on survival was extremely smart to solve the lagging problem. I've seen so many people complain about it, and I did notice that it was less laggy the later it got, and it makes sense now. There wasn't as many players on. I don't know why I never thought about going to survival. But anyways, as you can see, this is the route that he decided to take on repairing the pipes. And in case you're wondering, how in the world does he know where everything is at so quickly? Well, because he gave himself experience over doing it. And I suggest all of you to do the same. Once again, maybe go into this place in novice and just get familiar with the pipes. Or heck, just simply study this video. After all, this player literally is doing this solo on expert. This is definitely the video to be looking over and studying how to exactly do this. So anyways, as you can see, as soon as he entered the boss room after he got done repairing the pipes in the cave in the greenhouse area, he immediately took a right and entered this corridor to repair 2 additional pipes. And this led him downstairs into the flooded area to repair even more pipes down here. And he made sure not to forget a pipe that he could jump up to as well, as you can see. So yeah, basically he's just working downstairs here in the flooded area and just repairing as many pipes as he can down here. He will eventually make his way up to the top and repair the pipes that are in each code room. But right now he's just trying to build up his time and make sure he doesn't have to come back down here again. So yeah, once he officially got what he needed down there, he went up this flight of stairs and took a left here and got this pipe that was in the corner isolated, and then he worked his way over to the first code room that he decided to enter, which was in Gamma. There's 2 additional pipes in here that he got to repair to boost his time a little bit more. And once he got done entering the code in there, which by the way, his girl in the background, as you can see, is reading off the codes on the phone. But once again, you could just easily take a picture of it yourself and read it off that way, or you can just write it down if you don't feel like pulling up your phone or whatever. But yeah, anyways, from Gamma he went over to Alpha, which is literally right across from it, and repaired 2 more pipes in there, and then he entered the code once again from his girl reading off the codes, which was pretty awesome of her to help him out like this. And from Alpha he jumped over to Delta and found a pipe that he could repair outside of it, as well as another pipe inside too, but he decided to repair that after he entered the code. So yeah, once again, that's just boosting his time up a little bit more for the fight. And then he headed over to Beta, which is right across from Delta, repaired the pipe before entering that room, and repaired another pipe on his left when he first entered the room, and another pipe that was in there too, in the far back corner. So that boosted his time up even more. So once he entered this code, it was time to officially fight the Strangler Heart. And his tactic over taking out the Strangler Heart was to be right underneath it to keep jabbing at it with his Junkie's faster swing speed mole miner gauntlet. Now once again, you could be using a completely different weapon and still be able to do this. That was just his selection. And he made sure that he stayed invisible because he's trying to avoid all of the enemies in here as much as he can. Because there is a lot of enemies that does spawn in here. So if you're not careful and you actually get busted, you could really mess this part up because there is no time to spare on the additional enemies. Those are just distractions in this room. The main objective is the Strangler Heart, and how he got it to keep opening up efficiently. He would jump up to it and swing at it to get it to open. He actually got it to open up 3 different times before he officially killed it. Once in the beginning, second halfway, and third for the final blows. So yeah, once he got that done, he saw the time that he had remaining and he knew he had it. You could just see the excitement on both of their faces. And job well done, guys. This is absolutely amazing. The first person to make it known that you can actually solo the vault raid on expert. And he gave a very, very good tip. Just to try this in survival. It seems to actually solve the lag, which is great news because that seems to be a lot of people's problem. The lag that they get inside of here. Now I know what some of you may be saying, well Rifle, you just saying that is going to make lag come over to survival. No, come on guys, come on. That's not going to be the case because not everybody that's on a venture is doing the vault raid. You got to think about that. There's people on a venture doing all kinds of different things. Not everybody is specifically playing the vault raid right now. So I don't think it's going to cause that big of a deal me saying all that. Once again, feel free to go follow these guys' Twitch. They seem to be some pretty laid back people, as well as actually real gamers that get into the game and not just talk about the game, you know? They actually seem into it. Once again, their Twitch account is AustralVoid. I'll have a link down below in the description to their Twitch. Congrats, man. I don't know if you're actually watching this, but I appreciate you letting me use the footage, and job well done. Hopefully this actually helps out the community, me passing along the information that you provided to me. Heck, I'm going to be challenging myself now too. I want to see if I can actually do it solo, since now I know a pretty good way to do it. I'm out of here though, everyone. Thanks for taking the time watching and listening. Until next time, peace.